All right, hey guys, welcome back. We are going to look at the second part of our animal project, and it's going to involve positive and negative space. So positive and negative space is in every single picture. For us, positive space is the space that is used to make the subject of the picture. So here, the subject is a dinosaur. On the right-hand side, the dinosaur is the positive space because it's being actively used to make the dinosaur. On the left-hand side, the background is the positive space, and the actual object, in this case the dinosaur, has been left open. So on the left, the subject is actually the negative space. That's a fun way to play with people's perceptions. So when we talk about positive and negative space, we're talking about what's on your paper. So for example, if I had a very small house, then you've got some positive space, but mostly negative space. If you have something that's about in between, you've got a balance. You've got part positive, part negative. If your drawing takes up most of the paper, then in that situation, you have mostly positive space and much less negative space. Now, some people like to play around with positive, negative space to make it interesting. They call it a gestalt. So what do you see here? Some people see faces looking at each other. If you focus on the black, you'll notice those first. But if you focus on the white, then you notice either like a candlestick or a chalice. So here they are in the reverse if you were having trouble seeing it. Now, what about this? Oh, a cat being eaten by a dog's head. Or a bird bringing a branch of olives. Or how many dogs are there? 3, because we've got 2 in positive space and 1 in negative space. What is the negative space making in this picture? Remember, the negative space is what is not being actively used as the drawing, but is showing you something. That's right, it's making a city. Or in this one, we go back and forth a lot with positive, negative space. We have a positive elephant, a negative horse and monkey, a positive dog, a negative cat, a positive mouse. So we are going to be using what are called zentangles. Now they are patterns that come together and create an overall effect in a certain space. So here are some great examples of zentangles. Part of zentangles is taking your time. You slow down and concentrate. It's almost like meditating or yoga. So we're not expecting you to be like super duper perfect. We're also expecting you though to slow down and take your time. So let's look at what that's going to look like in practice. For us, we've got the picture that we worked on last week. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide up the space around our animal into sections. Now, you could divide it up lots of ways. If this is my paper, maybe I want to divide it up where it's like radiating around the animal. Maybe I want to divide it up so that it's, random. Maybe I want to divide it up so it looks like the animal is sitting on a rainbow. Maybe I want to divide it up any number of ways. Maybe you just like the idea of it being a graph. So it's got straight lines coming across and filling around. Whatever you do, you want to make sure that the spaces aren't too big. If it's bigger than your fist, then you're going to end up being a little crummy with it later. So help yourself out. I think I'm going to come and I'm going to get kind of some random puzzle shape pieces. I'm thinking just kind of opening. And you notice I'm drawing really lightly. That's because I want to be able to erase those later and not have them be a main feature of my piece. I do think I'm going to split this a little bit. There we go. So I'm dividing it up. And this is what I have. Alright, now in each one of these sections, I'm going to create a different zentangle. I'm going to leave the animal completely alone. The animal is going to become my negative space, and it's going to be a negative silhouette. All the positive space will be around the edge of my animal. So for example, if you're having trouble thinking of something, you can always look at some of our Zentangle examples to help you out. I like the idea of this one. I think circles are super cool. So I'm going to come in, and I'll start with this section right here. Whatever section you start with is totally up to you. When I look at that and I break it down, it looks like there are the middle circles and the large circles around them. And you notice I'm going to stop that pattern, that Zentangle, once I get to the edge of my space. So I'm coming slowly but surely, and I'm really focusing in on using that exact space and filling it. So here I am. And I noticed when I saw that one that they all come together and touch in an overlapping way. So I'm thinking about that as I go in and do mine. I could always make adjustments to one of them if I liked the basic idea, but I didn't like how it finished out. I could always make adjustments and change what something was going to look like. But I still want to think about being careful, being steady, and being thoughtful. Alright, and here I go. I'm going to come and I am going to add those inside circles. You'll notice a lot of the Zentangles are very close together in their patterning. That's because they want to create an overall appearance. They want to create it like it's one solid thing. So think about like patterned fabric that you've cut. You recognize that fabric as all one piece. You don't recognize it as a bunch of random designs. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it so that it's taking care of that thought process. Here I go. So I'm going to pause you guys and I'll bring you back when I finish this. Alright guys, so I went ahead and did two so that you can see what's happening. So I've done this whole space and I went all the way to the edges of the space that I drew and went right up to where the animal is. When I did my second one, I picked a pattern that was going to be a little bit different so it didn't blend in. And once again, I went all the way to the edge of my space, continuing that pattern, and I stopped once I got right against the bird. So I'm going to continue that all the way through. I want to show you some really successful student ones from years past so that you can get an idea of what we're looking for. So we loved this snapping turtle. He turned out great. There was a cat. There's a squirrel, and I think these are supposed to be acorns all around him. Here's a seahorse. And you'll notice one of the things that all of these have in common is that they've really taken their time. They've really been slow and steady. Just think of it as a chance to let your brain zone out and let yourself really focus on what you're doing. Alright guys, I am so excited to see what these look like. Remember to be sweet with your Sharpies. Don't be pressing down super hard. Remember those felt tips can crush and then they will not work anymore. Alright, bye.